Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning, and this is my son Ben. And today we have a look at the Glenfarclas 15 years single malt whiskey from the Highlands. Well,
yeah, Glenfarclas, we've just been at Glenfarclas, and it's a very beautiful distillery. It's one of the few private distilleries that don't belong to big companies, but actually are a family business. And I was just amazed how nice the business runs. You realize it's a family-owned business, and it doesn't run like a corporation, but everybody knows each other, and they know their history. They have lists of the casks and that kind of stuff. And when we went around all the warehouses, we went into the warehouse, and they have so many dunnage warehouses. They are really dedicated to dunnage warehouses.
And there are a few dozens of them.
Tons.
And we've started our drone and had a look around, and you have a huge still house together with the fermenting room with the washback. So the washbacks is the bigger part of the distillery, the long big house in front, and on the opposite side is the visitor center, a wonderful piece of work, artwork inside, with the inside of a saloon of a ship.
Oh yeah, that was. It's like the tasting room. I think when you have a tour, in the end you get a little tasting to see the finished product, and they sit there in this saloon, and they have, I think, was it a meter or a steering wheel, and they said it's from the landing ships of D-Day or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
as well,
really old, and they had some wooden planks from ships built inside that were even older.
Yeah, and the complete furniture is from a steamship.
From a steamship, yeah. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. The inside of the distillery, beautiful as well. Huge, big stills, which are fired directly. So there is a gas fire below. And with a gas fire, the inside of the still is hotter on the inside. There's no steam heating with coils, but directly over the wall. And then, well, the residue of the peel from the barley corn, they might stick to the walls. And then there is a rummager running around. It's a brass rummager, a chain. And this scraps always at the copper pots, and those copper pots have to be replaced more often than others. And the thickness of the copper is much bigger than normal pot stills, twice the size, about 8 to 10 millimeters thickness. And they have to replace when they reach 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, beautiful distillery. But what you will see is when you look at the label, they say Highland single malt. So they don't really go for the Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. They don't go for the Speyside, even though they live in the Speyside, because if you look at the very bottom, there's a address and it says Speyside.
Yeah.
That's because they were there before it was called Speyside.
Yeah, because they introduced the Speyside. Glenfarclas already was in production. So they said, no, we won't change to the industry. We're private. Yeah. So
they kept on going.
There is a huge portfolio of whiskies from Glenfarclas. There are vintages I often had on my cask for tasting, you know that already. And there are standard bottlings, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 17 years for Asia, then 21 years, 25 years, 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
And I think I once had a 50 years of age. So there's a lot of standard bottlings around, and this one is the first one in this brown bottle, and this bulgy brown bottle shows this is better content than the standard liquor bottles in which the 10-year and 12-year-old are filled. This one has 46% ABV and is unchill filtered, and all of the Glenfarclas whiskies are uncolored. So this is beautiful, wonderful stuff, which is filled as it should be. Glenfarclas sticks to Oloroso sherry casks. Most of them. There are some port wine casks, some Pedro Jimenez casks, some other casks, but most is Oloroso sherry cask, and so you do not have these first fill cask in here, so it's not dark enough for that. So you have mixtures between first, second, third fill sherry cask, I think, and most often first and second fill for the 15-year-old, and therefore the sherry aroma is not too intense. Even I'm smelling it already.
It's amazing. I was in the warehouses and they had so many sherry casks here. Just every second cask you saw was a sherry cask.
Yes, and two different sizes: the sherry butts from Spain and the hogshead size or barrique size directly from the US. Or from the US, from American oak, then shipped to Spain,
sherried,
and then coming up to Glenfarclas. Sweetness, a lot of fruit, dark, intense, and in the back already showing a little oak, a little spiciness of oak, but most of it is sherry fruit, really massive. And I had a sip before, the maltiness shines through. Yeah.
You do really get a lot of sherry. You do have really a fruitiness that is with a lot of grapes, that even goes a bit into dried grapes, raisins, a lot of sweetness, and there's always a bit of a discussion going on with the smokiness. There is no peat smokiness in there. It's just a little, I don't know, smoky note or ham note. Not ham.
No, not ham. It's aromatic.
Aromatic, yeah.
And it might come from either
like a bit of
the oak
chimney in there, like
either from the oak. Second, probably from the boundary layer between the charcoal and the oak. From that, or it's always said that the barley corn always contain a very little bit of phenols. So this might also bring it, but it's definitely not a smoky whiskey. Definitely not smoky whiskey. It's less than a whiff.
It's less than a whiff. Yeah, it's just a very, very, very faint note.
Yeah. Okay. The impact is strong, it's full, it's massive. The 46 ABV is driving the aroma into your mouth. The oakiness is present, it's prickling on your tongue, and it's no bitterness at all. It's mouth-watering, fruitiness, a hint of sweetness. So it's really, really massive, full, and a wonderful dram.
It's amazing how much flavor it has inside. There's a lot of sweetness going on. It's a definite sherry bomb. And what I also find it is that it has a soft and oily character. More oily than soft. So, oily, creamy, with a lot of fruit, berries, grapes. And then when you come to the end, the fade out, the finish is with a bit of a spiciness and a lot of oak. And pretty round as well.
Yeah. The oiliness, there are two things. First, they have huge stills where they might have some transfer of fusel oils into the final product. This might lead to an oily character, but definitely there's no sharpness of fusel oils in it. So it might be an oil component, but if you have a strength of 43 to 46% ABV, then the viscosity of a mixture of water and alcohol has the maximum in viscosity. So it's just as well as it is this taste, there's a physical component, so the legs are normal.
Yeah. What I also find is that the 46%, for me, it's pretty much the ideal percentage, because everything less carries less flavor, everything more is a bit too powerful for a well-balanced whiskey. If you have a strong one, then you really want to have the strong flavor. But this is a really well-balanced cherry bomb.
Yeah, balanced, best word. Complex, balanced,
Creamy.
a lot of flavors,
Soft.
and often you have a faint smell and a hefty character. Sometimes you have harsh, bitter aftertaste, and this one is from the nose over the taste to the aftertaste. It's a wonderful balanced dram, and I think if you have to decide if you go for a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 21 years old, then the 15-year-old is just in the middle and just the right value.
Yeah, it's
for the price.
a good quality to value ratio.
Yeah.
If you buy the 15-year-old, you get a lot of quality for a good price.
And this one has 46% ABV until filtered. And all whiskies from Glenfarclas, I don't know if you said that, are uncolored. And if you have younger whiskies from Glenfarclas, the ABV is less. And some of the older whiskies, the ABV is also less at 43%. So this one is the peak of the ABV in the normal, constantly available bottles. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to have, if you want to introduce yourself to Scotch, to premium Scotch, this is a quality bottle that is still in the price limit to buy. So, thank you very much for watching. If you found this video interesting, then please feel free to share this with your friends and find more information on Whisky.com. See you next time.